Good morning, everybody. Yeah, that's a little better. Very, very good morning, and it's a pleasure to be here. The topic of the day says facing forward. So I was just wondering whether I should face you all or I should face this side. Which is the right forward? Anybody knows? I'm told the earth is all round. So whichever you face, you don't know. I think that's the first thing that we have to probably realize. Can you please put this light off? Just can't. Or if you can't put, then I'll come down. It's too bright. So I was one day talking to Sadhguru, and he was giving an example somewhere, and he said a tourist came to Coimbatore and asked a villager saying, I want to go to the ashram, how far it is. The small young boy said it is just 14,532 kilometers. So he said, how can it be this much? I have come all the way from US. He says, yes, sir. Just turn around and it is only 5 kilometers. So I think that to me is the most important thing for us to really understand what are we facing, what is forward for us. And when we look at what is forward for us, probably we have to look at many things that's happening around the world, and especially in the country. So I thought I'd just pick up a few things that's happening in the country. Most of them you hear it in the news and you see it happening around you, but I think it's important for me to just put this together as saying facing forward. So the first thing is, when you're facing forward, don't look back. I mean, we Indians are so good at storytelling that most of the times we love our own stories. We love our own stories, and we keep talking about what I did. I know I started Shop to Stop in 1991. I know we have seen 20% growth. I know I have seen 16%, 20% like-to-like growth. I have seen 10% EBITDA. But all this is past. Who actually cares of what's happened to stock market last week or last? Okay, don't look back. I mean, whatever you've done in the past is lying as experience for you and is lying as wisdom for you. Please use the wisdom. But every time going back and say, I did this doesn't work. Because if you look at 10 years back and today, everything has changed. 10 years back and today, everything that we are facing has changed. The government has changed, the ministers have changed, the cabinet has changed, the GDP has changed, the technology has changed, the top 10 companies are totally new, they are all billions and billions of dollars company. Everything around us for the last 10 years has changed. I mean, 50% of the customers who we are targeting are the ones which are born after 1991 when we started Shop to Stop. So basically, everything is new for us. So can we look forward with a different lens? Then when you look at growth, just now we were talking and we said last quarter has not been good, June has been weak, July is looking much weaker, there is a problem, can we get into rent reduction? But the fact is, all of us know that the country is still growing at 6.9. RBI said yesterday not 7, 6.9. At 6.9 we are probably the largest growing country in the world. So isn't there an opportunity in the 6.9? Yes, there is an opportunity. The question is, can we find the opportunity for ourselves and our business, or should somebody else find the opportunity for us? In most cases, we are saying somebody else has to find the opportunity for us. So government has to bring down the GST. Very well, as RAI chairman, we'll fight to get the GST down. But is that the way to grow our business? I don't know. So every aspect that is happening around us, which is influenced by the government and the policies, will help us to probably fight better. But eventually, if you look at it, it's all about what we do as an organization and individual that makes a difference. I met last year in Coimbatore, in one of the conferences, an individual, and somebody introduced me and said, sir, this gentleman is an entrepreneur and he has a 100 crore business. So I asked him, sir, what do you sell? He said, kumkum. You know, the kumkum that we put. I was amazed at the volume of business that he does just with kumkum. And he says there's not a single lady in South India who will not wear a kumkum. And there's not a single temple where you will not put kumkum. And in order to ensure, we also have kumkum abhishek. Okay, and kumkum abhishek can happen on a small idol or a big idol. So you can have a 10 gram kumkum or a 1 kg or a 100 kg kumkum. Look at what the opportunity is sitting in this country. And the amount of probably money he makes. So I just met a gentleman who says he's into the business of chili powders. So there is a huge opportunity sitting around us. And I think that's what probably we are missing, because we are not wanting to change ourselves. I have seen situations in the last 1.5 years where the business was not growing, but the profitability could grow because we were lethargic, because we were sitting on our past glories to say, oh, we are so-and-so, and how can anybody come? We are invincible. But actually, when you looked at the inefficiencies of the business, it grew. Things had changed. So please don't look back, look forward. Environment is there for everybody. I mean, the government doesn't create a GST only for you and says, okay, this row GST, this row no GST. It doesn't happen like that. So the biggest opportunity for us is sitting in the customers. And that customer of ours is actually changing at a very fast pace. And that customer for all of us, at least people who are sitting in the room, I would say 90% of you, I don't know all of you, the customer is only a set of 30 million people. And all of us are chasing the 30 million. But there are very few people who are chasing the 70 million. I'm sure the Kumkum person is chasing the next 30 million. I'm sure the chili person is chasing the next 30 million. Just now somebody told me, Bala, or somebody said that there is an entrepreneur in Tamil Nadu who sells shirts for 150 and sells trousers for 200 rupees, and he's doing huge volumes. That's the opportunity for the next 30 million. We can't be sitting here because my grandfather started a business trying to sell a 5,000 rupee saree and I continue to sell a 5,000 rupee saree. No. Yesterday I saw a video which is probably viral, and sometime back it was probably viral, of how somebody in America has registered a brand called Lungi, L-U-N-G-Y. It's our lungi. And he's selling this for $50. And he's only telling how to fold the lungi in 10 different ways. Are you go to Chennai, to the airport, to the coconut wala, everybody knows how to fold the lungi 10 different ways. But he's made it into $1 million business. So I'm saying that's where probably the opportunity of what is around us is probably missing, because we have to look at the customers much more deeper. The second thing is, even the customers that we have today, and we have many customers, we are actually become very, very single-minded towards our customer. I sell mobile, so I will only look at what is the mobile consumption of the customer. So therefore, one mobile, it is going to last 2 years. So after this customer is no more my customer. And that's the end of the story for that customer. After 2 years, you want to go and he has forgotten you because he said, you have forgotten me. If you look at the spend of the customer, the opportunity around the customer, the 30 million customers, amazing. I can tell you an example. I mean, most of you know, after having taken over the chairman of Shoppers, I was last 1 year looking at the data. Today, 80% of our business comes from the first citizens. Okay, average would be 73, 74. In this, we do 3,000 crores of business. But you know what is the spend of these customers? The spend of these customers is 20,000 crores. So you have a choice. Either you pat yourself and clap to say, I do 3,000 crores with my customers, or you kick your butt and slap yourself and say, why the hell is that 20,000 going to somebody else? Now look at the opportunity sitting in that. Or, I have the two doyens of electronics, Vivek, sitting here. You are in the only business which gets an entry into the customer's house. Tell me any other business where a lady opens the door and says, come inside the house. This is the only business. You are allowed to enter the bedroom, you are allowed to enter the bathroom, to install a geyser, you can go into the kitchen. Every room of the house is accessible to you as a retailer. But please tell me how many retailers have actually trained their service assistants, service associates to do observation and conversation. I'm just saying two things. For that you don't require graduates. Observation and conversation. What do you observe? I've entered the kitchen to install a new AquaGuard. You have a refrigerator which is looking old and making noise. Observe. Conversation. Ma'am, is the refrigerator working very well? We also have a service company. We also have a service department. Can I ask somebody to come and meet you? Or can I offer you my catalog of the stores? Why can't the service technician carry a sales catalog with him? Here is a sitting opportunity for you. Now, if you go to install an AquaGuard, which costs you probably 5,000 or 7,000, and end up selling a refrigerator, you have doubled your share. I think that is the opportunity we have to see, ladies and gentlemen, with the customers of ours. And this is just one example which is offhand, which has come and I'm sharing with you. Because if you don't look at this, what we are realizing is we are looking at only then our competitors. So Pi is a competitor, Reliance Digital is a competitor, everybody is a competitor to Vivek or vice versa. But honestly, if you look at it, the competitor is no more from your industry. It is amazing as to how the competitor is no more from your industry. It is also that the competitor is sometimes within from your industry but not in your domain because you think it is not your vertical. Let me give you an example. Yesterday I was reading the newspaper, morning, auto sales down 10%, 12%, Maruti sacks 1,600 people, blah, 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 blah. Country is going to lose 2 lakh jobs. On the flight, next to me was a gentleman. He was a CEO of a second-hand car sales. And I was talking to him and I said, what do you think about this? He says, I don't know, but my business is roaring. I said, how can your business roar? Auto is down. He said, last quarter I have grown by 62%. And this is not a one shop. Huh? This is a chain of 500 stores across. It comes from a very large very large group of companies. 62%. And he said, my service revenue has gone 200%. So you can imagine what has happened to my profits. Because maximum profits come from service. So I said, if the new car dealerships are closing, but their service revenue also has dropped, how is your service revenue gone up? He says, because of the fleets which have come up of Ola and others, because of the corporate cars that are there, I'm getting a lot of second-hand sales. And all of them are coming to me for service because I have created a service infrastructure to serve them, because they don't bring one car at a time. I get 50 cars at a time. Now look at it, same industry, same vertical, same shop, same place, and we have a serious challenge there. And here is another opportunity. So if you actually look at one by one, each sector is actually creating an opportunity which is very different. I saw somewhere Mr. Kumravel's name here. Okay, if you look at the salon business, if you go to any of the hypermarket or supermarket, every personal care product, you actually say 10% down, 20% down, 30% down, 1 plus 1 free, 1 plus 2 free, take it free only. You could have any of the schemes. Please tell me one ad that you have seen where you said a haircut free, a facial free, a color free, or 50% on the discount on the colors. No. So product is getting degraded and the service in this country is getting upgraded. I am paying 100 rupees for a facial mask, which I can use, but I am paying 750 rupees for a facial in the salon. Which means the same mask, if used, 650 is the service charges. That is the opportunity which is getting created. I mean, you look at each and every industry vertical that we are in. There was a comment from the CEO of Netflix, and somebody asked him, sir, who is your biggest competitor? Can you guess what he said? Sleep. If people start sleeping, binging will stop, and if binging stops, Netflix revenue will go away. So look at what somebody is thinking. If somebody sleeps, now I hope he's not giving dope with the night coffee for people to be awake. Yeah? But the dope is the binge and the content of whatever you get. So each one of us is facing competition in a very different way, but probably we are not looking at it. But isn't that an opportunity? Isn't that gentleman or that company making money out of this because there is an opportunity as far as the customer is concerned? The other thing that's happened is CapEx cycle and OpEx cycle has changed. And this is important because a lot of large capitalists have come in this business. Whether it is a Walmart with Flipkart, or whether it is an Amazon, or whether it is a Reliance, whether it is the Tata Group or the Biane Group or the Raheja Group, a lot of them have very large capital, which many of us as individuals cannot fight. Because we think there is a lack of capital and there is no loan arrangement, any of NBFCs are going bankrupt, so what do we do? But there's a huge shift that is happening between CapEx and OpEx model. I mean, restaurants are facing a challenge because their seats are empty because Swiggy has now taken that away and make it home. So because Swiggy is delivering it home, and therefore you are having more dinners in home rather than out of home, therefore the way you dress up at home has changed. Now look at that opportunity. If you look at the last 3 to 4 years, the Indian ethnic wear, kurta, pajama sales have gone up. Why? Because when I'm calling people home, I'm not wearing a suit and tie. But when I go to a 5-star restaurant for a dinner, I'm wearing a suit and tie. So at home, what am I wearing? I'm wearing my casual leisure clothes. So suddenly, everything is converting into an opportunity and things are changing across. But the question is, are we keeping our eyes and ears open to understand our customer and say what our customer's behavior is? Is there an opportunity for me to look at something more from the same customer? And therefore, can I create an experience? I mean, there was one conference where we had the Chennai auto driver who was actually presenting, and he made a fantastic presentation. I don't know what his name is. He's supposed to have laptops and magazines, and he knows every CEO's birth date, and on that date he gives you, free of charge auto fare. Amazing experience, the same 3-wheel, and he says he has a waiting. People call him to say, he says, oh, I'm 20 kilometers away. No, man, take it half an hour. I'll wait for you because I want to travel in your auto. So problem solutions are moving into creating experience. And I think that is becoming very, 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 very critical. And these are opportunities which are sitting with us. So every time when we're looking at it, it is no more necessary that you have to get into a situation where you're putting a large amount of capex. The third big change that is happening is we all feel very proud, and RAI is very proud. I'm part of RAI. We say, oh, we are part of modernizing retail. We have modern retail, okay, and we are not traditional retail or unorganized retail. But let me tell you that the movement that is happening in unorganized retail is at such a fast pace that in 5 years you will not recognize the same unorganized retail which is next to you. And this is a no capex, no apex model. And this is amazing change which is bringing in. Okay, there are three companies which almost all of you would have heard of. You would have heard of a company called ShopX, you would have heard of a company called Udaan, and you would have heard of a company called Pay Nearby. All these three companies, the day they get announced, would be a billion-dollar company. And what have they done? Very simple. They are powering the small retailers to be absolutely cutting edge on technology. So that Kirana who's sitting next to you, that small shopkeeper who's next to you, who you think is the so-called unorganized, that shopkeeper is no more that. Because they're powering with technology, therefore the second generation of that shopkeeper is coming back into the business. Okay, this change is happening, and there is some work that we do in our trust with Kiranas, and I'm seeing it visibly. We are party to seeing 200 transformations ourselves. 200 Kiranas have got transformed in the last 2 years' time. Each Kirana's profits have tripled, sales have doubled in 3 years' time. This is a Kirana shop of 1,000 square feet. And all this is happening because they are adopting technology, and there is transformation happening, and these are all transformation happening from outside. The only thing they require is a smartphone, and all of them have a smartphone. So that's a big change that's happening. When this is happening, because the sales is doubling and the profitability is still small, okay, you will actually find that they are employing more people. They are paying better salaries. In fact, a lot of so-called supermarkets, you are a Roman Kirana, you become a Roman supermarket, is also giving uniform. Now there are 6-7 people who have uniform. Yeah. So this unorganized trade that we believe is actually changing. And I don't know how many of you saw yesterday's Gazette notice by the Government of India. Yesterday the Government of India has announced that they are going to create a body, a welfare body at the government level, which will actually look after the small traders and the employees to say how we can actually help them grow. So there is a technology happening because of the startups powering the Kiranas and smaller retailers. It started from food and grocery, but it will percolate into all the other fields. Yeah? And there is a government which is actually wanting to sustain. You saw the announcement which was made on pension scheme for the small. So this whole unorganized and organized, in my opinion, is all sitting in our minds. You don't know who next to you is likely to get more organized than what you believe. And the last, of course, is on the employees front. I think there is a serious challenge there. And the challenge is something that we don't know where the solution lies. It is important that the working wages and the real wages match. If the minimum wages are in the region of 10 to 11,000, the living wages are in the region of 13 to 15,000. So there is a 25-30% gap. If the government comes with a minimum wages change, the industry suffers. All of us will actually suffer. But if we don't do something there, okay, employees suffer who are also fellow Indians. So we are in a conundrum. We don't know where to take this across. But the fact is that the employee productivity will only improve if the employee is kept happy. Okay, and the definition of happy is not saying I pay 10,000 rupees salary. And what's happening is that the alternate things that they are getting, they can earn the same 10,000 rupees by not working 12 hours a day. The smarter ones, the not so smarter ones are anyhow lying idle in this country, and that number is huge in terms of, when we say unemployment, yesterday I was in a girls' college. We launched a program for women empowerment in a college in Mumbai. The principal told me that out of 100 students, 95 students don't want to start their work at the lowest level. They want to be general managers, CEOs directly. These are graduates, art graduates, commerce graduates. So this is what is happening to the country. So we are in a very strange situation. We are saying we have the demographic dividend, we have the youngsters who are going to grow. We are saying this will actually make a big change to the country. On the other hand, we are saying they don't want to take up a job because they don't want to do menial job. As per them, working in a retail store is not so aspirational. Yeah, they want to be directly the CEOs or general managers of the store or store managers. So I think these are some of the challenges, but there are also these are the opportunities which are coming. And if you just look at your own self inward, your own customer from your eyes and the eyes of the outside, look at that small things that is happening around you in terms of government policies, initiative. Look at how competition is coming from a different point of view, not your particular trade, and look at where our countrymen are. And if you can actually combine this, to me the whole fast forward is actually a double fast forward. And there are companies, if you look at Byju's, there are a lot of tech companies. Or Rakesh is sitting here. I mean, 2 years back or 3 years back, they launched a brand called Cover Story. A fantastic brand. I mean, this is the same country which is supposed to be the biggest exporters of fashion and garment. I mean, what happened? Why did Manjula have to come and create such a beautiful brand? Western garments can beat any Western brands across the world. That is here within the country. So there is opportunity. And I'm a very strong believer that if you look forward, there is a huge opportunity. I mean, if you look at like this, if you look at in the car, the front window shield is very large. Okay, the whole expanse that you have is 180 degrees. But if you want to look at the back, that bloody thing is a 9-inch mirror. Okay, it's a call that you have to take, that driving the vehicle, do you want to keep seeing the 9-inch mirror and patting yourself? Or if your girlfriend is sitting at the back, you're winking at her. Or you want to see on the front, which is a 180-degree view. I'm a very strong believer. You should look at the 180-degree view. You have an opportunity. Even an extra 1% share of business that you get from your existing customer will give you double the business. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you.